Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I decided that I just want to have a little tour through my studio space, and for all of you guys interested in that, that's just the video for you. So let's go over to the studio space. It's looking like this. That's the small nook that you already know about. And the other side of the room just looks like this. And it's not the biggest room at all, and it's basically my living room, but I think 95% in here are just dedicated to music, so it's more or less it's my home studio with a television in it. Yeah, I will show you around. That's just storage for me. I have a few more baskets in here. In here I keep my stuff for guitar repair, string changes, for fretboard cleaning, to dust off some things with a brush. In here I have some pedals I don't use at the moment, some clones I did, which started to fail at me at one point. That was a bit noisy, and when I just tried to repair it, I blew the LED, and since that happens, there's really nothing but noise out of this. Here's the Deluxe Reverb amp pedal by Boss, and that one belongs to my brother, as well as the Governor pedal. It's just I think it's one of the first pedals I ever started with, and the trusty noise suppressor. That's mainly for amp use. So what else? Inside here I keep all my strings. My strings of choice are those Ernie Ball skinny top heavy bottom strings. My guitar is tuned standard D, and those are just perfect. So it's really easy to bend the higher strings, and I still have enough tension for riffing on the lower strings. Also some regular slinkies for the Talman. Or am I just lying? Yeah, Burley Slinky. Those are for the Talman, because those are just, I don't know why. Those strings feel the same on the Talman as the skinny top feel on all other guitars that I have. Power Slinky, I don't know where I got them from, and some 7-string strings. In here, some old power supplies that I don't use at the moment. Guitar straps, some lights. And here are just spare parts. Like there's a pod, and I don't know why I ordered that. It's meant to go into one guitar. I think it's for the tone pody on the offset telly. And here I have some more screws and stuff like that. Here's a little collection of the pedals that I don't use, but I found them beautiful enough to keep them on display and to constantly remind me of the beautiful pedals that I still have. Sometimes I just ran over to that shelf and just pull something off to put it on the board to have a little jam. Microcosm, one of the greatest things I ever bought, and it's not on the board because I don't have much space left. Ring thing, that one's a bit damaged on the preset switch, so I got myself a second one, and as soon as I got myself the second one, I also got myself the pitchfork, and since then I don't use the ring thing anymore. It's really fun, but again, it's just too big for my current board. DS1 I got for cheap. That's just really a keeper. That's a clone of the Friedman BEOD, which was the first overdrive where I really felt like it was useful. That's just a brutal fuzz that I keep around because it's just heavy, and that's a clone of the Phase 90, I think, and it's the first pedal I've ever built. I haven't built any in the last few years, but I will never get rid of this one. That's a picture of me and Wes when he had a concert in Berlin with Blacklight Burns. It was shortly after my 30th birthday. Down here, a little collection of my records, and in here it's just nothing but post-rock in here. It's just instrumental. Over on this side where I keep my record player, there are some more records from Deftones, Korn, Blacklight Burns, King Buffalo, Them Crooked Vultures, everything that I just listened to before I even heard about post-rock. There's also one of the most important albums ever for me, and that's just El Cielo by Dredge on vinyl. And I've also the Catch Without Arms on vinyl and the Leitmotif, and I'm really happy to finally have those in my hands. Currently, here's my backpack for which I take out when I film. That's a pair of macro filters that I try. And inside the backpack, I have the G9, which sometimes acts as my second camera, with a dedicated lens. That's just nice to be able to record a session just for demo purposes. Some more ND filters, and my main camera is the S5 II, with which I'm filming at the moment, and mainly because that autofocus is just nothing but reliable. I mean, nothing is 100%, but I'm pretty happy with how that one behaves. Next one, the television with, I think it's a video by Hubris, which runs at the moment. If you don't know Hubris, check them out. I was on a concert a few days ago and they were great, and it was the third time for me. Inside here I have my DC cables cleanly tucked away in the box, my patch cables, and for the most part I just run those EBS flat cables. Those are really cool space savers on the pedalboard. I have most of them on mono, but I still have some stereo cables in there. Over here is over here in this box, it's just mainly camera stuff. Some lenses for my full frame, which is the 50mm 1.8, which I rarely use these days, and a lot of lenses for Micro Four Third. And I especially love this one, which is a 25mm f 0.95. That lens can give you the full frame optic by using just Micro Four Third cameras, and Micro Four Third as my B cam cameras are always a win for me. You have some light attachments, some more light stuff. Here's all the pedalboard stuff, and it's just mainly Velcro in there, and just some zip ties for cabling. The next one is just full of boxes. I just ran out of space in my other rooms and I can't throw them away. I just like to keep my boxes. Whenever I get rid of some pedals, I don't know why, I just like it to sell, if I sell a pedal, to sell the whole package like it was before. With menu included, with box candy and the box. I just think that looks just better. Here's my Xbox that I wasn't using for quite a while now, but lately I'm so back into Skate 3 and Skate 2. It's just, I don't know how many hours I spent the last time just playing Skate. Little collection of some films on DVD and Blu-ray, lots of Marvel, and some horror movies and some goldies like, I really love this one. When I saw it the first time, it felt like Family Guy in a movie. Just really, really good. Radio Rock Revolution. That's also one of my favorite movies ever. And Only Lovers Left Alive. Also another great movie, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. That did a lot for me. So over here on the window, this is where I keep my batteries. That's my little charging station. And all those little ones are just Velcroed to the sport. So I can take that away by once. But if I'm on my way and I need one of those, I just can pull them off that little piece of wood. Here we have the pedalboard you all know. My trusty bomb guitar. Here's my pedalboard cam, which is a GX80 or GX85, depending on where you live, with a 15mm f1.7. Here I have some CDs where, to be honest, I haven't listened to those in years. That's the PC that I've built, or better, that a friend built for me, and that's running pretty stable. On my desk, my main monitors are Mackie MR5 MK2, I think, and I got them to my 30th birthday, so I have them for more than 10 years at this point. And nice little lamp. And I'm really used to listen to those speakers. I thought about switching over to Genlex, but I don't know, spending money on a thing that still works, I don't know if that really makes sense. For my interface, I use the Scarlett 8i6. It's the third interface I've ever bought, and it's the second Focusrite interface. And I don't really care about people on YouTube just comparing interfaces and telling that one sounds better than this one. You can always spend more money on things, but that's just good enough for me. I'm really thinking about getting myself an interface with more inputs, and I could stay in the Focusrite ecosystem. I really like the, what is it called? The Focusrite, let's have a look. The Focusrite control app, or not an app, it's a desktop remote for that, just to take care of the routing. And for streaming, it's really, really good, because I can decide what signals I put out and mute signals, mute incoming signals to not have them just echoing, because when I receive a signal, my PC just loops that and puts that out, and that just results in feedback. And with that one, I have pretty much every control that I need over that. I don't know which monitor this is. I think it's 30-inch. I'm not sure. My monitor control is a old Nano patch, which at this point is, I think, yeah, it's as old as my monitors, I guess. Logitech keyboard. And I usually keep 2 guitars around, just to spice things up when I'm recording, and when I feel like I'm a little in a rut of writing music, sometimes changing the guitars helps a lot. That's a little newer tube light, which I use as my hair light. And I have another tube light here, which I've used quite a few times. And my main key light is this 60-watt Zijun. It's the Models G60 with the big softbox by Rolly, which was rather inexpensive when I started to do my research on softboxes. It was really get a small rig or I don't know, Godox or whatever, and that one is just it's built really really good. I had that for years, and it's served me so well over the years, and it was one of the most important things for me to get the lighting and the mood which I was after by looking at other YouTube videos. One little thing to mention is one of the most important things for me is that Canvas Stereo DI. It has a switch to sound from DI to line level, just to give it some more push. I can leave my pedalboard stereo connected and go into the interface, but it can also sum to mono and run into my amp without really detaching any cables, and that's just a total win. The pedalboard currently rests on a keyboard stand, which is another thing. I never thought that a keyboard stand could make that much of a difference, but it's so handy just to be able to quickly adjust height on the desk. Also, this little footrest. That's a Boss Expression pedal, which I've connected to my pitchfork just to act as a whammy, and it works perfect. Over on here are some of the case candy that you get buying pedals, another little tripod, and lots of cables. Some XLR microphone cables, some stereo ones, spare guitar cables, and these are the cables that I use for streaming, one for my S5 and one for the G9. I'm pretty sure that's it for here. Another thing maybe is this one. That's the mics that I use, and those are the Hollyland Lark. I don't know which version it is. I think it's probably Mark 1. And that just helps in keeping the audio rather stable when I have a mic attached somewhere and just turn, then just it gets louder and quieter. And with this one, it's just stable and it's more easy to edit. So there's another room where I keep some of my other things, my other equipment, my guitars that don't have a place in there. That's just my changing room. Lots of boxes if I just want to send off pedals to anyone. That's the first guitar I ever got, which sadly starts just to bow. Here's my mono pedalboard case. Here's another smaller pedalboard, which I can't get rid of because sometimes someone comes in and we will have a session and I just can't put together a second board just for jamming purposes. I think here's the baritone Ibanez. Here's the 7-string. There's a 4-string bass, an acoustic guitar, an Ibanez SZ3 320. That's one of the best things I ever bought bass-wise, and it's an Ibanez Tellman bass. That's for the Starcaster, that's for the offset telly, and that's the case for my bomb. Here I have also my 2x12 orange cap, and I have another one which is a 1x12, which is currently not up here. And a few more things. That's where I keep my little micro dark, which I'm sure I will never get rid of. That one, I can't say how much that one did for me in finding my own sound. And if the micro dark isn't enough, that's where I keep one of my favorite amps ever, and that's the Milkman, the Amp 100. Just a lot of clean headroom with this one, and I especially like the boost in here because it adds just a little bit more flavor, but it still stays very clean, and I'm really satisfied with this one. That's it really for all the gear that I'm using. It's sure it's much, but I think I started to play guitar more than 20 years ago, and you just start to acquire more and more gear over the years, and you start to experiment. You buy some stuff, you sell some stuff, and the more I bought, the more I sold, and now it's just boiled down to a point where I think I really know where my needs are, and I don't have to buy or look into the latest and greatest pedals. I'm pretty sure what I need and what I don't need. So yeah, that's just a video about my studio space, and maybe it was informative. If you would like me to make a rundown on my video rig or my lighting rig, or have any more questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I'm always happy to have a conversation, and I really enjoy being part of a community in this way. So yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.